To the Barrel Buddies. I'm James.
Wait, did we count to 3?
We didn't count, but the number came and went while you were
trickling. Yeah, sorry.
While you were chatting. And welcome to the Barrel Buddies. I'm James. You ready?
Welcome to the Barrel Buddies, take 3.
And welcome to the Barrel Buddies. I'm James.
And I'm BJ. We're back for your weekly booze news and reviews. And we had to take a break for a little dark. With every piece of darkness, there is sunshine.
Yep.
And with a little rain, for every rainbow, there must be a little rain. And we appreciate you bearing with us as we have to go through our little rain.
More to follow.
And thank you all for all of your well wishes. Jimmy, I
tons. I have been inundated.
It's been a lot of well wishes.
With tons of well wishes for our fallen soldier and friend, the Bourbon Cats.
Look, there's some right now.
And yes, and actually her final resting place is in the corner temporarily, which on the camera here.
Oh.
But we'll do a reveal, and we're going to have a show dedicated to Bourbon Cats.
Yeah, we'll make sure
we're going to plan that. We're going to have a guest. It's going to be very big, but we're not ready for that right now.
Nope.
However, what we are ready for is to discuss Elijah Craig.
You know, we promise
barrel proof.
We promise booze, news, and reviews, and we do pretty good with booze and reviews. But we've got some news that we want to lay out there with you. And a big piece of news that hit everywhere this week was the announcement of the release of the new Elijah Craig Barrel Proof
C923,
which is going to be the third release of Barrel Proof for the year.
Yep. So for those that don't know, they release Elijah Craig Barrel Proof 3 times a year. You have, it's typically the designation and how they do the batch number. So that's C923. The C is for, the third batch of the year. The 9 is the month that it's released, and 23, the last 2 digits are for the year. So we know that this is the third batch of September 2023. Now, there was a little bit of banter, I'll say. I'm going to call it banter.
Little bourbon banter, little barrel banter.
For those that haven't been following Elijah Craig too much, I need to make sure that we're rolling here. Hold on one second.
Just a moment.
We're ready. We're good.
Okay.
So,
what kind of banter is that?
There was some, we'll say, discussion in the bourbon community that when B523 dropped, so that was the last, we'll say, quarter's release, and that was 5, which is May 2023,
right?
B. They took off the age statement, and that seemed to upset some people. So typically, it would say it was a 12-year product.
Yeah, right.
And they just removed it.
Okay.
On the B523. So
why did they do that?
Well, the assumption was, bourbon hype, bourbon FOMO. They got to start lowering the age. They got to start watering down whiskey to accommodate the demand, the huge demand that's out there.
Sure.
So it is what it is. Bourbon community acts like the bourbon community does, which is typically good, but there was a lot of negative feedback, it seemed, with the upset opinion of the age statement. What does it say on that older barrel proof? I brought one out for reference. Does it have any age statement reference on that?
You brought out a big one. You know, a friend of the show's and a friend of mine was just talking about how this might be one of the best barrel proof offerings that Elijah Craig ever did.
Oh, hands down.
Which was the B521.
Oh, that was just one.
This was a big deal release. So on this one, it doesn't have an age statement.
So
12 years old.
It says on the side. 12 years old, and then that was actually the change to the front label. So that's the first new front label. I have some older ones that are pre-batch 521 that have the straight black label on the front.
And this one went to the side.
Yeah, it's on the side. Just get to the chat. Jeff Smith, it's been a while. Welcome
Hey,
to the
Mr.
show.
Smith.
Hawaiian Shirt Barrel Buddies edition. Elijah Craig. I'm all about that.
Love it.
Speed aging in the Rick House, apparently. But anyway, we're delighted.
Some people do it really well.
And kudos to Elijah Craig for doing this. So obviously this releases in September. I've heard Scuttle. It's out there. It's with the reviewers right now, which, not us. But I'm going to get this. So this is what I'm
this just dropped in town.
This is a must-have. Or I think it's to be dropped in the next week or two.
As a reminder, the barrel proofs, they don't drop quarterly, right? They drop in like trimesters.
So that's what I meant.
Right? They
Yes.
do trimester drops. So this is the last barrel proof drop of the season for
Right.
2023.
So we get A, Bs, and Cs. There are no Ds.
Yep, no Ds.
No Ds.
But there is C's. And we like the B's. I find that I don't like the A's so much.
So people say
I don't like
that,
the C's so much, but I really like the B's.
So people think, or there is rumor out there, that each trimester, A, B, and C. I don't like trimester because I associate that word with pregnancy, and I don't want to associate that
You
with
are
drinking.
birthing a baby.
So, be responsible drinkers out there, friends. Anyway, Uncle Punky, welcome. Great to see you
Uncle
as well. Uncle P's on the show here. What was I saying?
You don't like calling it a trimester.
Right, but I
but
want
we're
to talk
talking about why some people like A's and why some people like B's.
And I
some
think I
people like
actually,
C's.
if you could keep talking for a second, I might have a good reference sheet to pull up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I think what you're probably going to say is the blend. Well, these aren't barrel proofs. Not. We've talked about how barrel proof is different than a
The
single
batches
barrel,
is what we're calling them.
right?
The
And
batches.
so a barrel proof is still a blending of different barrels. A single barrel is when it comes out of the single barrel, but a barrel proof just means that it's the same strength that it went into the barrel as it came out of the barrel. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about barrel.
So people think, of course, people are torn because there's never been an official answer or disclosure from Elijah Craig about this, but they're claiming that your A's are going to be a bit more floral and that floral whiskey kind of flavor,
Sure.
right? Like
Yeah, I know
it's
what you
it's
mean.
the spring season, it's
Yeah.
welcoming spring.
Yeah.
They're using this as an association, the correlation. Bees tend to be a little bit more on the sweeter side of things, where you get more of that
Agree.
rich, kind of summery sweetness.
Mhm.
And then the fall, the C series tend to be a bit more oaky.
Yeah, you know what? I
That's-
tend to agree with that.
That's what the claim is.
I tend to agree with that.
Again, we don't know. That's what most people are seeing on the interwebs
Okay.
and the internets. And
And we've got three bottles out here, and again, just putting it back, barrel proof, very different than this other beautiful bottle we got down here, which is a small batch, but it is also a private barrel. So
Jeff is
interesting things we're
asking-
gonna talk about.
Jeff, you'll have to go back and look at our Fortuna
Oh, you see the
review
Fortuna-
show.
the
You can
Fortuna
probably see it somewhere in the
back
background there,
here.
but we did review that
maybe
offering
it's-
from Rare Character. Unfortunately, I have a very polarizing history with Rare Character, and that does not mean it's a positive one. So
Not
we'll have
so
to chat
rare.
offline about
Not so rare.
not so rare Amberana Rare Character outside of the show
No.
to tell you my true opinion.
Don't get him started, Jeff.
So I'm gonna tell you right now. You poured this, and I just wafted.
So if
right
you
over to
will
me.
recall, and
Wow!
I
haven't even
don't
lifted
believe
the
that
glass.
any of the I don't believe that any of the viewers will recall, but this particular bottle, this particular show, we said this was fall in a glass, fall in a bottle, and so this was a B, and I do recall that this was
Mhm.
very sweet, very fruit forward, very rich. So when you said that, B's tend to be very rich, very sweet, I 100% would agree with that. The C's tend to be a little more oaky, I 100% agree with that. The A's being a little more, I think you said floral, and what I was going to say was young. I tend to think that even though 12-year is not young, it's definitely starting to reach that sweet spot of barrel aging. I get a very young flavor in those, and maybe young and floral is just two things I think about. But Let's get into this. I'm really
Please,
excited to get right back into this. So, cheers to you.
Cheers, friends. Let us know in the chat what you're drinking out there. You're joining us tonight. Hopefully you're pouring a beverage and having a dram or snort or pour with us. And yeah, we always like to talk about everybody's drinking. And oh God, this nose, I just love it. It makes me salivate. Like when I smell this, I just love
I will tell you,
this.
This is very full bodied. Drinks a lot bigger than 118 proof. It's hot.
Whoa, that is still a hot boy.
Hot. Really hot. But not in a bad way.
It's hot. It's putting its feet. It's making a stand.
That's a whiskey.
You're not knocking this sucker over.
Walks in the door and says, "I'm here. Party's on, boys and girls."
We do not, and hopefully you don't want, Jeff, because it's basically rebranded Toasted Barrel, and Toasted Barrel is poo-poo, in my opinion.
We're talking about Elijah Craig Toasted.
The Ryder Cup. It's like how they just released the F1 McLaren Jack Daniels edition, which people losing their minds. I'm like, guys, it's just Jack.
Cool sponsorship on the outside of the bottle.
So they used, in their defense, the oak is different. So I believe that it's either French oak and not American oak that they've used for this Ryder Cup edition.
I'm shaking my party stick under the table.
I don't know that anything could save Toasted Barrel. I loathe Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. I don't know where they went wrong with it.
So, here's the thing. I think I've been talking to a couple of different distillers and a couple of different representatives out there about the whole Toasted program, because Toasted a couple of years ago was a big hype deal. Everyone came out with Toasted. Right, you had Elijah Craig Toasted. You had the Basil Hazen.
Because they tried to make char a thing instead of age.
And they're like, check out these cool levels of char. And look at all the char and the char, the Toasted.
Just stick with the basic.
And then I think the element here was, we're going to char the saps, essentially the sugars inside of the barrel. We're going to crystallize those more, and we're going to bring those out to be something that can essentially dissolve and come out into the juice. I don't think that's what happens at all. I think it's you lose the sugar. You lose it.
See the bottle.
So I'm not a big fan of any of those toasted programs. I haven't had a toasted yet that I went, oh wow, that was a great idea. I just haven't had it. That's on my palate. If you have a toasted that you like, by all means,
let us know, please, because we can be swayed. If we, I don't know that we've had.
I'd love to hear it. I haven't had them all.
Exactly.
So toasted out there.
I'm open to trying it.
But I tell you that the really hypey toasteds, the really bad ones, and forgive me, I'm going to be a little ignorant. Jim Beam did that double oaked where they did a toasty barrel in that double oaked, and it made it wretched. I'm not a big Beam guy, as you may know.
Oh yeah,
right. You know this. I'm not a big Beam juice guy. There's some Beam that I really like. There is, and the Beam that's good is Beam that's good. But that whole Beam double oaked, super toasted, you might as well have taken a Kingsford Burkett, thrown it in some Jack Daniels for a week, and then said, "Hey, look what I made."
So here's we didn't talk about the point though of talking about. I wanted to get to the point about them removing the age statement. We didn't get to that, and that's a huge part. They're like, "Why? Whoa! We got to back."
Hey, thanks for bringing us back there, James. That's usually my job.
So Elijah Craig did the exact opposite of what the bourbon community thought they would, and they have actually C923.
Okay.
Is going to be released at 133 proof.
They upped that proof big.
It's huge.
It's almost
not only that,
points.
It's going to be a 13-year, 7-month age statement. Well, much
almost
more.
A 14-year.
Almost a 14-year barrel proof product at 133.
Talk about oak. Talk about oak, right?
This could be
character.
Could be, and that's the fine line you guys ride, and they ride, as we've all talked about, friends, that the longer you age something, typically 6 to 8 years is about a sweet spot. You could probably push that into 12.
I like 12. I like the 10 to 12, but I think when you start going past 12, you really start messing with some things. But again, perfect example. And again, I'm going to go back right here to what Elijah Craig does well with age. let's look at Elijah Craig 18. EC18.
Love it.
A lot of people say that is an oak bomb.
It is,
I
but it's not.
don't think so. There is an oak character that is very well balanced. The oak is present, but it's not overbearing. It's delightful, and it's definitely something. And maybe it's because they proof it down. So I'm curious what this high age, high oak, high proof is going to do. You've got, EC18 is high age, high oak, low proof, and it makes it a really delightful offering. I think it's one of the best offerings out there, if not, it's definitely, I think, vying for our top dram of the year, if not, the best dram of the year so far.
Absolutely.
And so if anybody's going to do something that's high oak, high age, high proof, and do it well, I have faith it's going to be Elijah Craig.
Let's get to the chat. Joseph, hi from Michigan. Well, hello there, Joe.
A Michigander.
Michiganders.
Where are you from? There.
Yeah.
Joseph?
Where? What part? What part of the Mitt? Let us know in the chat.
Or
I was going to
a
do another.
Uber?
Why was I looking like we were going to do another?
Is he a Uber?
Love thing.
Oh, cheers.
Oh, okay, sure. I didn't sip yet, so.
We're not. Well, James.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it's a little contentious if I say that I'm from Ohio. We got a Michigander. There's quite the rivalry.
It doesn't have to be. We're not talking. It's almost football season.
We're not talking about driving, and we're not talking about football. So
not football season yet.
So okay.
We're good. Law school friends.
So anyway, 13 year, 7-month product. Hello.
That's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a big drop. So again, the point of tonight's show is to talk to you about this upcoming drop and be on the lookout.
Be on the lookout, but don't get crazy. Like, I don't know how to take this because to your point, and the oak, the older age statement worries me a little bit, especially with the oak that we're already getting in this, which we'll get to the review in a minute. Worries me slightly.
I'm not,
excited, but worried.
Yeah, I think that there's some cause to be patiently optimistic. What's the price point? So typically, barrel proofs are going for 70 to 75.
No. This is going for 70 to 75. If we're talking about some other BS barrel proof out there, they're in the 150s and 100 and up. So I don't know. There's a lot of low price,
but that's what I'm talking about.
There.
This barrel proof, the Elijah.
Barrel proof specifically $70, and thank the Lord, Heaven Hill is keeping the price the same. Elijah barrel proof will still be at 70.
That's what we love.
You may see 80, 85, 70 to 85 is okay.
Yeah.
Even a hundo, I'm okay. Still at 100.
Really?
Over? No, negative. Nothing over 100.
I think the big question always comes down.
I think we're going to see $89.99.
You think so?
Yeah, I think just shops to make.
I was going to say $79.99.
Yeah, between that is I think what we're looking at.
And I think that's acceptable. Again, you're getting a barrel-proof product. You're getting the one-time offering for the year, and for those of you that are Elijah Craig fans, as we are, I think that's definitely worth it. And what I was going to say is, I think the question always comes up, and I know this always comes up every time we talk about Elijah Craig. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to get to it before the chat comes in.
Yeah.
This versus. I know, pause for dramatic effect.
You have a
this
review.
versus
you want
Blanton's. No, this versus Blanton's. It's always
straight from the barrel.
Would you buy this or would you buy Blanton's? Because Blanton's has really kicked up in price, and so it's still very hypey. It's very sought after. People are like, "Ooh, Blanton's!" But you're buying Blanton's in any shop right now for $150.
Yeah, 100 to 160 is what I'm seeing right now.
And so a barrel-proof Elijah Craig at $80. Or a Blanton's.
Blanton's, you're coming in a lot lower proof. You're in, was it 94?
Elijah Craig.
4 is Blanton's.
Guys,
90 something.
Elijah Craig.
And it's just like sweet. It's just like meh. It's just, we all know you guys all know it's on Blanton's, but this blows it out of the water. Especially a barrel proof offering, because you're getting the complexity. You're getting that unadulterated, not watered down, not proofed down. This is coming straight out of the barrel into the bottle, from barrel to bottle.
And it's a big boy. This is a big boy whiskey. I mean,
it's
this
huge.
Is such a good bourbon.
Giant boy.
This is a bourbon.
Fantastic.
And every bourbon drinker I know, I'm not going to call it whiskey drinker, because whiskey is a big spectrum. But when we get a little more specific to being like bourbon, I don't know a bourbon drinker out there who doesn't like Elijah Craig? I don't know one.
I don't know either. I'm thinking like I'm really
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
hard.
racking my brain.
Because every time you bring it up,
anybody...
no, every time you bring it up and you're like, Elijah Craig, you're like, oh yeah, no, that's good. I always forget about Elijah Craig.
I think that there's a misconception sometimes. People think like, oh, I kind of see it everywhere and I see it all the time, that it's not a big deal. Do you see what I mean? Like, that's kind of like that FOMO. Like, oh, I've never seen that bottle, so it must be amazing. But oh, I've seen that Elijah Craig barrel proof just sit on the shelf. Like, I think that there's a...
But that's, you know what? That's what makes this good, is because this is something that it is accessible, but it's not accessible year round. It's accessible to anybody that wants a payday Friday bottle, but it's also the kind of thing that you got to jump on. It's definitely the kind of thing that if you go into your shop after a barrel proof has been released, in the trimester it's been released. I know, I'm going to continue to call it that.
Stop.
The trimester. We talk about barrel Lamaze. We talk about the trimester. Next thing you know, we're going to be talking about the gestation periods. It's the kind of thing that if you go, oh, I'm going to wait till next week to get that because I'm just, they got a lot of them sitting out here in this island, or they got a lot of those on that end cap. Your perception is misguided because, again, Elijah Craig is more popular than you think. Everybody who considers themselves a bourbon drinker or even a collector is going to see that and go, oh, the new barrel proof is out? Yeah, I'm getting that.
Yep.
Because they want to compare it over the most recent offering and the past offerings, and they want to be able to have that on their shelf. I'm just going to quickly turn, and I would be ready to guarantee I'm going to count the 3 in front of us plus probably another 4 behind me.
6.
Which
4 to
is
6.
going to prove my point that it's just something that's like, oh no, another one? Yeah, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Oh no, another one? Yeah, I'm getting it.
You can't go wrong with it, guys. Like, literally, the shelf here, look, those are all Elijah Craig's.
8, 9,
yeah.
10, 11.
Yeah. We're like, guys,
I'm sorry, I
Elijah
stand
Craig,
corrected.
if you're not...
There are 11 bottles of Elijah Craig behind us, plus the 3 mix, 14. There are 14 collective bottles of EC.
We love Heaven Hill.
And that doesn't just, like that, again,
we love Elijah Craig.
It doesn't speak to the love of how much we love. We do. We love Elijah Craig.
Love Elijah Craig. Daily drinker, small batch, which I want to get to something in the chat here in a second.
But it speaks to, A, it's easy to pick up. B,
yes.
It's released 3 times a year on barrel proof. Plus, you've got all these private barrels that show up, and private picks, and the store picks that come out on top of it.
Private barrels,
it's very accessible.
It's great.
And every time you're like, oh yeah, no, that's going to be good. I know it's going to be good. I can guarantee I'm going to buy it and like it. And at that price, I'm never going to be sad about it.
That's the thing. If you can score this at $70, guys, there's not many other better deals in whiskey.
That's a fact.
Especially nowadays. Prices are crazy. Jeff is talking at his local, at one of his stomping grounds. They've dropped the price of small batch, 12 year by $10 a glass. Less demand. Unknown delicious whiskey.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's
They're
cool.
just trying to move them. Hey, that's great though. Because the more Elijah Craig you can go through, hopefully you get more Heaven Hill products on the upper end.
Is that at a particular watering hole?
St. Vesper.
We would know.
Throw it out there. You typed it in.
Are we okay to put that? Yeah, okay. So at Vesper.
He typed it, yeah.
For those of you in the Vegas area, or for those of you coming to visit Vegas, we're just going to let you in on a little secret.
Yes.
The Vesper Bar at Cosmopolitan is a
hidden gem.
Hidden whiskey honey hole.
Try not to reveal that, but we're going to reveal it on the show.
And it's a great place to go where I would say not only does the bar management know what's going on, but definitely the bar staff knows what's going on.
And the prices are extremely reasonable for a casino property. I'll leave it at that.
And
extremely, probably one of the best values.
I hope they won't mind us, tossing that out there, but that's a fact. It's a fact.
And we love it. We're there as much as we can be, and we always stop by to see our friends there.
Let's just say, have I ever been disappointed? No, I haven't. Oh, someone's at my front door.
Oh, there we go. This is a great pour. I want to get into it. I I wanted to talk a little bit about the mash bill because that was another thing of this era that some people may ask from. And I don't think that they've changed the mash bill. It's just a longer age statement. But this is the 78 corn, 12 barley, 10 rye.
You need to just finish that off.
Yeah, I will.
Because every single time, and I said it before the show, our friends over at Beer Zombies, they did a pick of Elijah Craig, the 2 men and a zombie pick for Valentine's Day. And then they came around and did an additional pick with Slimer for one of their anniversaries. This pick was way better than it deserved to be. And I don't mean that in a bad way, other than this is a small batch pick.
You're welcome, Jeff. He says, thanks for the plug. We try not to reveal who our friends are unless they would like to reveal it in the chat. We're pretty good about that. We do have some friends that join the show that definitely don't want to reveal.
But yeah, Jeff, we love you, man.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join the show.
For 14 years. I'm just going to toss that one that way. 13 years, Jeff? 13 or 14 years. Listen, that has been a solid, hidden, delightful whiskey spot.
Absolutely.
Where you want a general pour of Maker's Mark? Good. Stop in and grab one. You want a pour of Old Forester Birthday Bourbon? And you got the grip? Great. Go in there and have one. They've got it all. They've got a really wide range of offering there.
I'm getting like melon. I'm getting like cantaloupe.
Again, this is so much like.
Well, are we gonna go back to are we gonna give a rating on?
We've already rated these. We're not rating these. We've already rated these.
All we're doing is just want to talk about them.
We're talking news.
Here's the thing. We're talking news. The release is coming. If you haven't watched our review show and you're really looking forward to a review, go back and watch that. It's absolutely fantastic.
To that, I'd say we're going to have the review of the C223.
The second 923. The second 923. The second I get.
Probably in the next 2 weeks.
Within the next 2 shows, I will do my best to get us.
That's going to be our big talking point. So you'll see us do a big review.
That'll be great.
Yeah, big high corn in that mash bill. That's not surprising.
No, I mean 78% corn, 12% barley, 10% rye.
So you got rye to give it a little complexity, 78% corn.
That hasn't changed.
And then you got some barley.
Yep.
The only other thing that we recently had that I went, oh man, it's that high wheat, high corn. It's like if mellow corn was good. What was that we were just drinking? No. It was a big high corn mash bill. What was it? No. Mellow corn is good too. Stop it right now. You stop that right now. Oh, it was the Michter's. Because Michter's has that 79% corn.
Indeed.
And then 11%. It's similar. Real similar. Michter's. Delightful. And the American whiskey.
It is.
It's that American whiskey, which I like a lot. Real sweet.
You didn't like the problem.
You said it was cloyingly sweet.
It was. So with Michter's, I'm more of a fan of their 10-year products and up. I'm a little bougie when it comes to Michter's.
That's great.
10-year rye and the 10-year bourbon. And that's a little, some people would argue that, but I enjoy them. And then if you really want to get big swinging, you guys know what I mean? Then you go into like Celebration Mash. You go into the Big Dog Michter's, which...
They got that big energy.
Celebration. If you watch... Billions, you'll see some.
They can be a fancy.
Those are like bottles that go for like $20,000. We'll never see them. But Heaven Hill 17, we might, which is you want to talk about an older Heaven Hill product that is comparable to Elijah Craig. Obviously, we need to get our hands on. So that what I think is more within our grasp.
That was good.
We've had it at the cigar bar. That cigar bar at resorts. We had that a couple times.
Hey, would you guys be interested in doing an event again?
Oh, I think everybody would. We just got to give them enough notice. Holiday weekend,
Not a holiday weekend. Give you some notice. Yeah. Would you want that to be a cigar and whiskey pairing?
I think that goes hand in hand.
Could we partner with a cigar group? I think we could.
We could probably figure out something.
We've got a couple events coming up. Unfortunately, I think they're going to be private events. Hey, your boys have been picked to do some private events, so that's kind of exciting.
Look at them apples.
I know. I'm just going to go back to again, I'm looking at two men and a zombie, and really I'm thinking about two zombies that have said two of the most profound things in my life all year, and that is, number one, a rising tide lifts all ships.
This is true. Love that saying. Love that saying.
It's just stuck
Everybody
with me
working
ever
together.
since we
I
were
love that.
together.
Yep.
And the other is everybody else is out there competing, but the real people who are doing the real good are out there collaborating.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hands down.
And both of the people who are involved in a group that I super admire, and I'm admiring more and more every day, came from both sides of that partnership. And so I'm real excited.
No, and those guys have some huge news coming into Q4. So if you guys know who we're talking about, just make sure you're following them in their socials. Good shit. Okay, so let's. Do you want to talk a little bit about this pick?
No,
any details, or we've
talked about it. We've talked about it. I just wanted to have another little.
So I brought that sucker over because that. My apologies. So I had the 21 open, and then I had a 22 that is not open, and I'm open to opening that and having a comparison if you'd like of this barrel proof.
We better knock this back pretty quick.
So the one that we just had was the B. Was it the 921?
521?
521. Now this is a
C922.
C922.
Wow, a 12-year.
So yes, Jeff Smith will be there. He said, "Yeah, bring the yeah, absolutely."
Yeah,
Cigar
nice
whiskey
pop on it.
pairings. It's a great. We're gonna get it all planned.
Wave the neck out of that.
Waft the neck.
Wave the neck out of that.
That was a big pour. I
Again,
estimated that. Whoa.
That small batch.
Thank you. I needed
That small batch pick is just, again, shout out to you, Vinny and Chris, and that's who I'm talking about. Profound impact on my personal mentals. But everything they're doing is being done from a really cool space.
Yeah, and I have the utmost respect for independent business owners, and doing that struggle in Vegas, doing that struggle anywhere is not easy. It is fierce competition, and those guys have stood the test of time.
I am going to say this, in comparison,
Shoot.
which may not be a very good comparison, but this C offering,
Yes,
from last year, really dark.
Wow,
Really
that's a great
dark.
Wow, now
There's
that
a
you mention
very
it,
dark color.
you can even see that on the cameras if you put the bottles next to each other.
Very, very, and again, I know there's a lot out of this bottle, and so I don't know that it's a great comparison, but
There's significant.
this is
Even at a distance. Hold them up. Can you hold them up a little bit?
This is super dark.
You can't really tell from there.
It's hard to tell.
But I would say it's about like 30% darker.
But this C offering from last year is significantly dark. It's almost the color of molasses.
It makes me really excited. I want to get
It's real dark.
Cheers into the next.
So I would tell you, if we're gonna rate anything, we're gonna rate this bad boy.
Oh, sorry.
You're cheersing everybody else. Everyone
the
else.
mic there. Everyone.
Ear damage.
They're in their cars. Their speakers are blowing. Oh, wow. I get the sweet oak. I get
very sweet.
Sweet oak on the nose, but I get a tinge of ethanol though.
And I think molasses was it may have been
proof.
It may have been a little bit suggestive.
I get some dark molasses. Oh, I do.
62.4%, 124.8.
You know what I want to talk about really quick? No, I don't want to pivot too much, but here's the thing, guys. Higher proof doesn't equal better. Can we please get off that
100%,
bandwagon? I am so
100%.
frustrated.
Whiskey is not IPA.
Guys, don't think you have to get some 70 proofer. Everybody in their hazmat BS, and they're like, oh, this is the 70% Coy Hill. It's amazing. Guys, 70% straight alcohol, it's not amazing. Like, I'm trying to tell everybody that How about now? How about now? This should do it. I don't know what happened, guys. We're in tech shambles. Fuck. No, he said it's not. We have sound there. We have sound here.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's working. Now it's working.
Yeah, as you drop an
As I
F-bomb.
drop the F-bomb.
Don't worry, I'll edit this in post. No, I really will edit
We'll
this
edit in post.
I'll
All
edit this
right.
all out.
No, this really, and
Where-
this is an
hey,
easy edit.
where did we
we're
lose
back.
it?
We're
Where-
back.
where
We're
did-
back.
hey,
Yeah, where did
where
we
did we
lose
lose
it?
it?
What were we talking about, Uncle P? If you remember the last thing I said, I don't know how did that happen? We didn't even press anything. The laptop's fine.
You
The
got a new
mixer's
laptop.
fine.
It sounds like
It's
it's time to get new cords.
Camera cable. It's the camera cords.
New cords.
Camera and cords are the problem.
Uncle Punky, where do we leave off? We were telling a story.
I'll give him a minute, and then let's go back to this beautiful pour. We
No, I
kind of
wanna
poured our
talk-
heart into this
I wanna
pour
hear
here. We were
this-
talking it up so much,
I
and
want to
they
hear this
missed it all.
story about Rocky Patel.
Oh, I talked about that. I said he had like someone, not Rocky Patel, but like somebody in the family, something about whiskey.
Oh, this guy's got jokes. Hold on.
Joker.
Dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant. This guy's got jokes.
He's a joker over here.
This guy's got jokes.
This is where I just want to grab him, give him a little noogie.
You know, that is Uncle Punky's hidden talent.
What's that?
He has a joke about anything and everything. You give
That's
that
a good or a
man-
bad thing, though,
you
right? Are they
give
good
that
jokes?
You give that man a topic, he'll tell you a joke.
Okay. Are they good jokes? Your family, so you're not going to answer that.
I mean, it's a good joke. I think they're always good jokes. Sometimes
We're
they're dirty
just- we're
jokes,
just
which
giving
makes
you-
them
we're just
even
giving you a
better.
hard time, Uncle P. You know we love you. Anyway, so okay,
he
I
was-
love really quick. I love that you said that you cannot wait for
I can't.
this next release.
If this is an implication,
If-
then this is great.
If that's any sign of how this year's batch is going to be, I am so excited, guys. Again, be on the lookout. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Ooh, you guys know the Elijah Craig bottles. Next week and the week after, it's going to start dropping in September. It will be at your alcohol stores. It's nationwide release.
It's Indian summer right there.
You got to go get this, guys. Get it. Even though we haven't reviewed it, we're extremely optimistic. It worries me a little bit. It may be a little over oaked. That's the only thing I'm dancing around.
I'm going to give a quick score on this. I'm
I'm going to grab that bottle the second I find it, and I'm going to sip it. And if it's good, I'll buy another bottle.
I'm going to give you like my
I'll
lightning
sip
score.
it in the store.
Give you my lightning score on
What do you
this.
got? Lightning score.
So the nose was surprisingly sweet.
Yes.
Nothing crazy, but it was surprisingly sweet.
Hold on really quick before you continue, because this is
yeah?
a very important question from Florida Man Bear.
Oh.
What does barrel proof mean?
Oh, I said that a little earlier. But thank you for that question.
Yes.
As now I'm starting to get into the Rick Sanchez burps as I talk.
Same.
I'm like,
It gives you a little bit of indigestion of that high barrel proof, man.
coming
for
back.
us old timers.
Coming back.
Explain
so-
barrel proof.
Barrel proof or single barrel. They're not the same thing. And then you have small batch. Now, we know small batch is just a very fancy name that we give to a whiskey that has been blended of a very
Blended.
particular style of different barrels that were selected to create what we know is the flavor of what they say is traditional Elijah Craig.
And this is where the role of a master distiller comes in.
Mhm.
You hear about this, Bob Jones, master distiller, Eddie Russell, master
look,
distiller,
Greg
and
Metz.
Greg
master
Metz,
distiller,
Old Elk.
right?
These guys are the ones that are behind the scenes taking all of these barrels, they're blending them together,
Aaron.
and they're like, doing the nose. And they're like, are they doing the nose test and then the taste test?
It's very scientific.
And they're like, all right, this is it. This is what the flavor should be. So Elijah Craig in that example,
Mhm.
they blend them together to make small batch. It's a consistent offering year round. There's your small batch.
They're like, this is it.
Barrel proof, however,
Same thing. They're taking selected barrels that are of a high quality that meet their standards, and then they're saying this is what Elijah Craig should taste like. But barrel proof is when we say whatever the proof was that we stuck it into the barrel is the proof that we're getting it out of the barrel.
unadulterated, not watered down,
But they may
straight from the barrel.
so they may actually take grain product to either proof that back up, because we may have
So
lost.
yeah, like a neutral. I don't
Neutral
know that.
grain
I don't know
spirit?
that many are using neutral grain spirits. I think it's mostly water. Or are
No,
they using more neutral
sometimes
grain
you
spirits?
do use neutral grain spirit, because if you have to proof up, if you've lost,
Oh, then you're going to need neutral grain spirits.
if you have lost alcohol percentage, which does happen,
It's
it
basically
does happen.
vodka.
Then you take a neutral grain spirit, which is basically vodka, and you proof it up. You blend it and you get it back up. Or sometimes you need to bring it down with some water and neutral grain spirit, which is also a basically like a fortified water. It's a low proof vodka, and you proof it down
Yeah.
to get it back to what it was when you put it in the barrel. So that's a very long answer to what barrel proof is. And single barrel, of course, is, hey, we threw it in the barrel. Whatever happened, we took it out of
It's
the
your
barrel,
barrel.
and here it is.
You get your 160 bottles. There you go. Whatever.
Now there's a
after
lot,
aging
and obviously,
remains.
again, going back to the master distiller and the the people who are in charge, they are babysitting that barrel. They're taking whiskey thieves and they're testing it often.
all the time.
They're checking to see what's going on with it, because if it's starting to get too hot, you basically have made hand sanitizer. You can't drink it. You're going to go blind.
And typically with these barrel proof picks, these guys put these barrels in the rick houses. You got to remember, like the rick house is like these big warehouses with multiple levels where they put barrel on top of barrel on top of barrel, 10, 20, 30, well, like 10, 15, 20 barrels high. They have kind of what they consider like the honey spot. Like they know kind of in this warehouse the perfect consistent temperature, or the highest fluctuating temperature, because barrel Lamaze, as it's aging, that juice goes in and out of that wood, getting those flavors, getting those sugars, and etc. That they know kind of like that consistent spot where they're like, we want all of our barrel proof barrels to come from like floor 2 or warehouse F,
back in the
floor
back
5 in the
corner.
back corner. Like these distillers just know
and they
where to go, because
know what
they
those
already know. They don't
buildings
need to
create.
taste it pretty much. They're like, yeah, you're gonna want to use these barrels. They take those barrels, unadulterated, not proofed down, not blended, not mixed, barrel proof straight from the barrel. Creates barrel proof. So there's your answer. Small batch goes to the blender where they blend a bunch of barrels and usually proof it down, raise the quantity. It's a business they're running here. And then that's added some neutral grain spirits or water to proof it down a little bit. But that's their consistent run of the mill everyday offering. Small batch, the 94 proofer. Is where that comes from.
And then you've got, so there's also lots of different other offerings. Going to answer a question that you didn't ask. Sorry if you don't want to know. I'm going to tell you anyways.
What do you got?
I'm gonna pick on Four Roses.
Oh, okay.
Because Four Roses is actually a great example of a distillery that does this.
What do they do?
So Four Roses has 4 roses, and then they have single barrels, and then they also have small batch and small batch select.
A lot of offerings from those
They
guys.
do a lot of offerings. They really have it picked down. But in my humble opinion, only my opinion, not the opinion of both of us, I think that Four Roses base product is trash. I think it's absolute god awful, and it's a great example of what happens when you take all the crap that you don't like and you throw it in a bottle, because it is a business, and you slap your name on it. Because if you take a Four Roses and then you take a Four Roses small batch, you want to know the difference between small batch blending and just regular blending? Do the side-by-side comparison, and you will see the major difference that this has.
Absolutely. And here's the thing too, like these master distillers, like they haven't been at this for like a couple days. Like these guys have been in this for years, so they know baseline, like the Elijah Craig distiller, like they understand and know.
We're starting to get a little drunk, Uncle.
A little bit. I know. We're going to wrap this up too.
We're getting a little drunk, Uncle.
Okay, we're way over, and we're drinking barrel proof stuff. They know what their daily drinker product should taste like, right? And you got to remember, barrels in all different locations of the warehouse taste wildly, fluctuate, different tastes, different proof, different everything. So it's almost like they have to do this to stay consistent, because why would you sell a product that tastes like one thing and people love it, but then you bottle something else that doesn't taste like that? obviously people are going to complain. They want what they've had for potentially years. Like I know there's some people that have had Elijah Craig for decades, and some of these, not lower tier, but like daily drinker offerings,
Right.
where they have to stay consistent. So that's where they
Sure.
have to blend and add water and then neutral grain spirits, whatever. Like
Right.
there's this whole giant process involved, and they have to stay consistent to their brand and their tastes. However, that's where you get these cool, unique nuances with the barrel proof, with the private barrels, single barrels. They're all different. Case in point, wrapping up the show here. Guys, be on the lookout for the next 2 weeks for this next barrel proof offering. C923 is what you're looking out for. It's a 13-year, 7-month, almost, I'm going to say it's a 14-year Elijah Craig.
It's 14
If
years.
it's for $80 and you guys see it in the next 2 weeks, get it.
Well, it's really a 13 and a half.
I will, when I see it in the store, if I find it, I will do a short, like an Instagram short. So follow us at the Barrel Buds. I'll do an Instagram
Insta.
short on Instagram.
And Facebook.
I'll drink it in the shop. I'll taste it then. I will tell you guys my immediate opinion, whether or not I pick up another bottle or not.
So my quick random score on this, nose 2, taste 3, value 3, which puts me in the 80s. I'm going to give it an 86 out of 100.
I was going to say 90. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, this is delightful,
almost
surprising.
hand in
And
hand.
so again, it makes me real excited for the new drop.
Very excited for the new drop.
And another thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Florida Mandair says single barrel is the best thing you ever tried. Was wondering how close you could get for a lower price. Dude, these barrel proofs that we're thinking $80 are going to be a scorching deal.
Yeah,
there's,
those are good.
and we talked about the $10 rule. You want about $10 for every year of the aged product. Scotch follows that rule somewhat. Be careful with all these NDPs, these non-distilling producers, these producers that just buy shit. 10-year, the
sun's getting a little low.
The street sweepings in the factory get. All right, my apologies. For the Barrel Buddies, I'm James.
And I'm BJ. We'll see you next week.